Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day, there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. I am so excited. I love this guy. You know, I was looking it up, and Mr. David Avrin, I believe you are the record winner for the most appearances on the Business Power Hour.
Is there a special jacket or something?
I know, like a green jacket or something like that.
Or like on Saturday Night Live?
This is number 6.
Oh my. Well, and you and I look exactly the same, which is completely surprising. Well, I go back for you and I, and we go back 35 years.
I know. I knew you before I knew my husband. Isn't that bizarre?
It says something, yeah.
I know. We were just little baby youngsters starting off at the American Cancer Society, and had a great time there. And it has been absolutely incredible to watch how your career has just skyrocketed. And you are this fabulous author, you are a speaker, and you know what? Let me tell people about it officially by reading your bio, and then we'll jump into this.
You got it.
So one of the most in-demand customer experience speakers and consultants in the world today, David Avrin, CSP, Global Speaking Fellow, has shared his content-rich, entertaining, and actionable presentations with enthusiastic audiences across North America and in 24 countries around the world.
26 now.
26. Oh my gosh. 26 countries around the world. David helps organizations better understand and connect with their changing customers and clients to help future-proof their businesses. And we have you on today because you have another new book out. I love it. It is so much fun. The title of it, of course, I have it on the wrong screen on my thing. Tell us what the title of the book is.
I'm happy to tell you what the title. The title of the book is Ridiculously Easy to Do Business With. It's a practical guide to helping. Oh, wait, I'm going to turn around and look at it myself.
There it is. There it is.
Brand new. There we go. It's a practical guide.
It's so new that it's not out yet.
It's exactly right. Well, it is as of the air date of this, and this is somewhat evergreen. Once again, the title is Ridiculously Easy to Do Business With. It's a practical guide to giving customers what they want, when and how they want it.
Right.
And the genesis for all of this was just the recognition that that business is hard. Right. And we're all working hard to do businesses the best we can and compete against our competitors and guard against disruption and feed our families and serve our customers. And we're in an interesting time because I think arguably for the first time in history, everybody's good. If you weren't, you would be outed quickly on Yelp or TripAdvisor or Rotten Tomatoes or Glassdoor. And so companies and business leaders are always looking for where's that opportunity for real differentiation.
Right.
And I would submit, and I do submit, and I speak about this around the world, is I think if we can eliminate friction in our customer's journey, frustration, stop, pardon my language, pissing off our customers and making them frustrated and become ridiculously easy. Right. So my mantra, my message, my brand is all around this new book about being ridiculously easy to do business with.
I love it. And it's one of those things that as I was reading your book, there's a lot of duh moments, right?
Sure.
But at the same point, it's like, oh yeah. One of the things that I did, and it was phenomenal. You talk about in your book, make it easy for people to find you, right? So I started this initiative a couple years ago based on my experience with cancer on supporting others who are on a cancer journey. And so it is called Trying Not to Die, right? So we're trying to not die.
Right.
When I went to do it, or when I went to register, tryingnotodie.com was taken. right? And so I got .live, which actually makes sense, right? It's this whole acronym and all sorts of things. But
Sure.
people are creatures of habit, and we still
Absolutely.
try to type tryingnotto.die.com. So I'm reading your chapter in your book where you say, make it easy. I go off to the interweb things. Tryingnotto.die.com was available. I bought it. And now if somebody types that in, it reroutes to tryingnotto.die.live. So thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, you know what's interesting, and I like actually that you said there's a lot of dumb moments. And what's interesting is there's things that make a lot of sense. And then we ask ourselves, why are companies still doing it?
Right.
If they
Right.
know that this frustrates us, why do they still do this? I mean, this whole idea of there's a chapter I talk about being ridiculous. Every chapter is about being ridiculously easy to do something. And there's
Right.
one that talks about being ridiculously easy to change your mind or cancel, right?
Right.
Or companies will say, or ridiculously easy to sign up. And companies will say, you get it's a free month, right? Just sign up.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not free, is it?
Right. You got to give them your credit
You
card.
got to give them your credit card number. And all of the studies show very clearly that the vast number, the majority of those who abandon the process or abandon shopping carts are when they realize, oh, there's a catch. Oh, yeah, now they're going to, if I don't cancel within 2 weeks or 30 days, they're going to charge me for a year and they're automatically reoccur that
I'm
charge
never
every
going to be
single.
rid of it.
Right, right. And so they thought they were doing something great. We're going to give them a free month, but there's the catch.
Right.
And so it's a lot of pointing out to business leaders, look for those things that cause friction, that cause concern, that makes customers, prospects wonder and worry. If they wonder and worry, they're not going to move forward. So there's a lot of examples throughout the book, but isn't it crazy? And that was sort of the gist of my book, Why Customers Leave and How to Win Them Back is there's some things that are,
look, here it is on my
there
desk.
you go. You got your own copy. There's things that are pretty obvious to us, and yet companies do them. And I don't think there is a nefarious intent. I don't think they're trying to rip anybody off. They're trying to feed their families. But sometimes those in business, those who are watching or listening to this, take a step back. And does it add friction to the process? Does it add frustration? Does it add I don't know. And if your prospects are wondering, or if they're worrying, they're not going to move forward, and they're going to
They'll
move
go to
on
your
to their
competitor because
Absolutely.
you're not unique.
Right. Exactly right. Well, and they go to somebody asked me, said, well, what's the reason? Like my other book, Why Customers Leave. And I said, why do they leave? I said, well, they leave because they can. Because we have so many choices and so many options. If you are selling hamburgers at a stand in Disneyland, you can charge whatever you want.
Right.
Because you have a captive audience. There's nowhere else to go, right? You're in the park. But for the rest of us, we're in competition, and our customers are well aware of the options that they have.
Right. And your example about, making people sign up with a credit card, to me, that is, okay, so I don't make them give a credit card. The 30 days goes up, and then I use it as a touch point. Were you happy? Did you like it? What could we do different? And those who went good, okay, well, you didn't want them anyway.
Right. They probably wouldn't have anyway. Right.
Yeah. And so then you have the opportunity to get some customer feedback, to find out, this was fabulous. I do this different, whatever. But you've got that other little touch point to reach out to them and get some inspiration from them.
You know what? There's actually I include a lot of research, a lot of articles and supporting documentation for the assertions that I make. But there's some really interesting counterintuitive studies out there. One of them, with this one specifically, is saying those companies that did not require a credit card to sign up for a free trial actually converted more prospects, which one would not think that was the case. But it's because somebody had a better experience. Now, there is a short-term financial gain, clearly, for those who are just hoping that we don't realize how many subscriptions we have, right? I encourage everybody to do an audit. How many
pay attention, folks.
How many streaming services are you paying for? How many apps on your phone that you didn't realize you're getting recurring bills for? But there are companies that they rely on that.
Right.
They rely on the fact that people aren't going to know. And I just don't want to be the one to do business that way.
Right. Well, and that leads to one of the other ridiculously easy things to do is I don't want to have that streaming service anymore, or, buy that or whatever. I need to be able to click a button. right?
Yeah.
And make it go away rather than explaining that, oh my gosh, I don't want this, and go through 500 different
And
screens.
they make it incredibly hard to
Right. And they
cancel.
do it on purpose because then you don't
Absolutely.
cancel.
Right. Well, I do that and there's little tricks, and I kind of allude to some of those in the book as well, is that if you're trying to get technical support
I love this.
and you can't get technical support, you can do one of two things. One, either you can say, if it's like an AI or something, you can say cancel service, and you'll immediately be rerouted to somebody who can help you. Like if you can't get it and you're like, real person, you're screaming into your phone. But that's one strategy. And here's another really unfortunate strategy, but it works, is if you're dealing with, an AI assistant or a chatbot,
Right.
like, I think you said no, right? All you have to do is shout expletives into the phone. Or if you're in a chat bot, if you're
type bad words,
type in bad words, and it recognizes that there is a frustration, there's an anger, and you will be rerouted. Deb, how unfortunate is it that we as customers have to resort to profanity to get a real person?
Right.
And so the book is highlighting a lot of those kinds of things. But it's not only diagnostic, but it's prescriptive. And it's saying, here's better ways to do all of that.
Right. And I think a lot of times we think we are making it better. Sometimes it's, ooh, somebody else did that. Right.
Right.
But then we never try it. I challenge every person out there, try what you have set up. Is it easy to do? Did you get lost in all these various things?
Pretend you don't know how to do it.
Right. Yeah. And can you do it on your phone? Oh, that one always frustrates me when I'm trying to type in something on my phone and I get dwib for my name, and all sorts of things.
I've got big sausage fingers. I'm 60 years old.
Yeah.
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 There's things that are harder to do.
Right. And they try to make it seem like it's not. I was making a call yesterday, got the AI. Okay, that's fine. And so it was, please tell us why you were calling. And then it made fake typing noises, tippity, tippity. And I'm like, And it really, when I said no, and it went tippity, 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 tippity for quite a while, I'm like, okay, this just, it's worse than ugly music on hold.
I should have mentioned that in the book, because you're absolutely right. They have fake,
it's not typing.
But what's interesting is as I was putting the book together, there were some things that were very obvious, like ridiculously easy to reach a real person, or ridiculously easy to try before you buy. And I think I've compelling chapters, but then it really made me think, how do I fill up a whole book? What are some other maybe uncommon aspects that are still pretty frustrating? And so I had certain chapters like being ridiculously easy to relate to. Because the whole idea is that we buy from, we business with people we know and people we trust, and we trust and know people who are like us.
Right.
And so I have this admonition where I talk about saying, you have every right to go online and spout off on political rants, as long as you're independently wealthy and you can afford to frustrate half of your audience. Knock yourself out.
Right.
I no thanks. Right. I have opinions, religious, political. I share those and I debate those with my family and friends. I don't share those online because I have a responsibility. I have a staff to pay. I have a family. I've got 5 colleges I'm paying for. And so it's interesting to me how passionate people get in getting into arguments about nonsense.
Right.
How about just focus on your business and serving your customers? Because people don't have to agree with you to buy from you.
Right. Yeah. Right? I mean, I'm down here in Atlanta. And of course, one of the biggest examples here is Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely.
Closed on Sunday, and they made that decision very consciously for religious reasons. And they're very open about that. This gives our associates time, and Hobby Lobby says the same thing.
Absolutely.
They're home with their family to do whatever they would like. They're not saying they have to go to church. They, all of those various things. But it was a very conscious decision on their part. Turned some people away, and some people go there because of it.
Right. Well, I've heard people say, and they've opined online and otherwise, and they say, how much more money could they make if they were open on Sundays? And
a lot.
No, I don't think so. I think they would lose money because I think they no longer have their identity or their brand. it turned some people off. And I'm not going to get into whether you're or not, but because here's the thing I always tell others as well, because it's like be ridiculously easy to do business with is have expanded hours, 30 minutes beyond your competitors. You're going to get a lot of business. People have the right to do business however they want. I make it clear, but I also make it clear that we have freedom of choice, but we don't have freedom from the consequences of the choices that we make. And so there's some people say, I'm not going to be available 24 hours a day. Well, you have every right to do that. Who's out on some business in the middle of the night. That's fine. Some people like my life balance is worth that because I do business all around the world. I've spoken to 20 countries. When I'm having conversations with clients, and I have a lot of international clients, if we're talking, I'm the one talking at 2:00 in the morning. Always. Ridiculously easy to do business with. Others can choose not to do that. So a lot of the book is sort of laying out, here's some conscious and common frustrations. But as a business leader, as a business owner or entrepreneur, you have the right to choose how you want to do business. And if you want to do business that way or not. Just looking here sort of at my chapters here off the side about being ridiculously easy to resolve issues. Ridiculously easy to see. This was a totally unexpected one. This came from my own personal experience. And I did a lot of research, and my assistant Hannah did a great job of pulling some research for me, is that I think it was like 40% of all, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's right in the book. Like 40% of all purchases are made by people over the age of 50. And yet so many things in businesses are ridiculously hard to see.
Light font, tiny font.
Exactly.
My old eyes are like, no.
If I don't have my reading glasses, I go to restaurants, I can't read the menu.
Because they're now on QR codes and you're going to have to open it on your phone. That's
even worse, right? Because the other thing I talk about is in being ridiculously easy to do business with is give your customers, your clients options. Don't tell them. We go to a restaurant now and there's a lot of them. They'll say, I say, get a menu, please. And they said, no, just scan the QR code. I said, I'm 60 years old. And for those of you watching this podcast, I know what you're thinking. He cannot be 60 years old.
Oh, no, does not look 60.
I know, but I can't read a menu on my phone. Right. And the other marketing collateral, most of that's designed by people under 40 years old. And yet a significant portion of your revenue is for people over 50. Question is, make the accommodations. Look back, take a step back, look at your marketing materials, look at your business cards. It's been a long time since I've been able to read a business card without some ocular support.
We just started ordering from Hungry Roots. I had no idea you could do meal orders from them. I thought they were just online grocery stores. So I get my first one this week, and 4 recipes are printed on the back of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Do you know how small that font is? And one of my favorite memes that goes around on Facebook every once in a while is, that you have to take a picture with your phone in order to expand it to be able to read it.
Right. But that's a point of friction, that's a point of frustration that can be addressed. And I take it upon myself and yourself as a business communicator that our job is to highlight these things and to remind business owners, because everybody's got their head down. Everybody's working hard. Occasionally put your head up. Look at where some of those frustrations are, and why it's more important than ever is, as we said at the beginning, everybody's good. When everybody's good, we have options.
At
some point of your process, one of the chapters is about being ridiculously easy to pay. I get requests, because I do a lot of work internationally. Take Stripe. Do you take Square? Do you take PayPal? Do you take Zelle? Do you take Venmo? The answer to all those questions, what do you think the answer is?
Yes.
Yes. You're trying to pay me. Yes.
We had a garage sale over the weekend, and only one did want to pay on Venmo. We had it.
But it's also
he spent $5.
Everybody's got to do everything. And the good news is, for any of these payment platforms, for those listening or watching, the people in these companies are more than happy to help set you up on their systems. But then there's also the funny part, which is, everybody that you pay, no matter what, they flip the screen over and the tips on the screen, the suggestions start at 20% or more. It's a really funny TikTok. It showed somebody in a car pulling up to the side of the road, and they roll down their window and they ask this guy walking by saying, do you know where City Hall is? Says, yeah, it's just down there. Second, like turn left, and
Hmm.
then he holds up his phone with the tip screen. And
Hmm.
it's like, no, we're not tipping you for
Yes.
that.
No. No.
Um, but it's all those little points
Hmm.
along of being ridiculously easy to understand, to
Hmm.
resolve issues,
Hmm.
to pay, to agree to a contract.
Hmm.
And each one of these, to customize your order, easy to
Hmm.
navigate. Oh, here's
Right.
another one. This is a frustration for me.
Hmm.
Is this ridiculously easy to see the price?
Right. I
Companies
want to know how much it's going to cost. Now, you don't have to hit me in the face with it, but I need to find out at some
don't
point.
play games. And so at
Hmm.
the beginning of every chapter, I have the chapter title and then I have the gist, just
Hmm.
one sentence. And it says, when you play games with the price, it makes you look slimy.
Hmm. Right.
Or you go down the long sales letter and you got to click to the next one and
Hmm.
they're taking you down the path.
Hmm.
And they're very smart.
Hmm.
There's a lot of research and science
Hmm.
behind it. But there's a reason why their abandoned shopping carts is
Hmm.
the biggest source of lost revenue.
Right. Yeah.
It's I told a story that my wife and I we really like to well we were online and we were looking at some mountain property
Hmm.
as you know because you used to live in
Hmm.
Colorado. We were
Right.
looking at some property and we were looking at some log home manufacturers.
Hmm.
We found this one builder we really liked and a couple of and this one model and so we thought this was really cool and it said
Hmm.
click here for the price. So we clicked on it. Did I get the
Hmm.
price? Of course not.
No, you
Contact.
got the we want to call you and talk about it.
Exactly right. So I got a contact form
Hmm.
because that means you're I didn't fill it out.
No.
It's a significant sale
Hmm.
because they were dishonest about
Hmm.
it. Now I understand from the business side, they'll go, no,
Right.
but we can't give you a price because there's
Hmm.
so many different factors. I
Hmm.
get that, but then don't tell
Yeah.
me that there's a price if I click
Right.
the thing,
Hmm.
right? Or
Or
here's
do the prices start at?
exactly.
You know?
You used to when you drive around and you see a house for sale and there's
Hmm.
the for sale sign, there's like
Hmm.
a side box with the little flyers in it. You used to look at that and you could see pictures of the house and then you
Hmm.
could book an appointment, but you see the
Hmm.
price. Almost all the time now, there is no price.
No,
And
no.
I called them out. I keynoted for Remax, big
Hmm.
conference. And
Hmm.
I said, I called out and I said, I know why you do it because
Hmm.
you want us to call. And
Hmm.
even if we can't afford it, you can direct us to something
Hmm.
else. Here's the problem. That's not what we wanted.
No, I want to know if it's in my budget.
Yeah. So I don't call. And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't.
Hmm.
And I make this assertion all the time for the audiences because I speak for a living
Hmm.
is that the greatest source of lost
Hmm.
revenue for your business is the customer you never knew about.
Right. Yeah, because for whatever
They,
reason, they got frustrated and they went, nope.
exactly. Right. And it's, I mean, especially the ones that you get them to your website. I mean, my God,
Yeah.
on your website,
Hmm.
that's when you frustrate
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
That's when, I
Yeah.
mean, the hardest part of
Hmm.
marketing is getting them to your store,
Hmm.
get to your website.
Hmm.
Don't frustrate them there.
Hmm.
Spoon feed them there.
Right. Right.
So there's certainly some assertions.
Hmm.
The rationale behind it is one of the things when you would say it's simple, but it's not easy
Hmm.
because there's some very tempting behaviors
Right.
from a business perspective
Hmm.
of just let the customers do it
Hmm.
for themselves.
Hmm.
But what about the customers who don't want to do it for
Hmm.
themselves? You know, I go to Walmart, to
Hmm.
Walmart nearby, and I've got an overflowing cart of groceries.
Hmm.
They're directing me to self checkout.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking, I don't say this out loud because it sounds condescending. I'm thinking, I
Hmm.
don't work here.
Right.
It'd take me,
I missed my Christmas bonus from you guys.
I have
Hmm.
a parking space for employees only. But what's going to take me
Hmm.
45 minutes,
Hmm.
somebody else could do it in five.
Right.
But they, but
Hmm.
they, but they say, no, 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 no.
Hmm.
We give you a choice. It's
Hmm.
not a choice, Deb.
Right.
They have 47 self checkout
Hmm.
lanes and one staff checkout
Hmm.
with 9 carts deep. It's
Right.
social engineering.
Right.
And at some point, I think there's an experiment going on.
Hmm.
How much are people willing to put
Yeah.
up with?
And I think we're seeing that experiment
Exactly.
fail. You know,
Many
I, I
cases.
I think they said that Target is the one that's doing it first. You can do self checkout, but only if you have 10 items. And but there's always checkers no matter what. And so if you have one, you can go through a checker. But because I think that's part of the holdup is you've got the person with the overflowing basket that has 5 items that don't have prices. And
But I think you're exactly that's a perfect example.
Mhm.
And Target is one of those that's rolling back the
Mhm.
policy.
Right.
I have no issue with companies trying something new.
Right. Hmm.
Just don't make us do it
Hmm.
that way.
Hmm.
So when I go to a restaurant and they say, no, you need to scan the QR code, I get that. It's easier for
Hmm.
them to change the
Right.
menu.
Hmm.
But I say, do you also have a printed menu?
Hmm.
Because I can't read that. And
Hmm.
the answer better be yes.
Hmm. Right.
This
Even if it
ridiculous.
doesn't have everything on it.
Exactly right. I
Hmm.
mean, just give us choices. And that's the theme of the book is omni-channel,
Right.
choice. How do
Right.
your customers want to communicate with you?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they want to engage with you,
Mm-hmm.
buy from you, pay you?
Mm-hmm.
Giving them those choices.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best examples, probably one of the worst examples, was about a year and a half ago. Frontier Airlines made an announcement
Mm-hmm.
as they couched it in terms of something very positive, but
Yes. Mm-hmm.
they said they no longer offer voice support for in their customer service line.
Mm-hmm.
All you cannot talk to a real person. You can't pay to talk.
Ooh.
They no longer offer it at
Mm-hmm.
all. And then their press release says something to the effect of, we have found that our customers enjoy digital options. Really? Is that what you found? Did you find that? Let's
No.
imagine somebody who's 81 years old,
Mm-hmm.
who is not a technology native. They're
Right.
going to see their grandkids and their flight is disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one to call.
Right.
And they're trying to like, Melvin, where do you press the button on the,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And bless their hearts,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't ask for this.
No.
They're what are
Mm-hmm.
the chances? Gee, what could
Mm-hmm.
possibly go wrong?
Right.
And what they've done by this, their bean counter was very happy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to pay anybody
Oh
anymore.
yeah, those poor people got fired. A whole bunch
Right,
of people. Mm-hmm.
right. But the reality is now it's like they have accepted the facts. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
They will be the airline of last resort
Mm-hmm. Right.
because I will not
Mm-mm.
fly.
No.
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I may have 1,000 people. See, this is what happens live when
Mm-hmm.
we are, don't edit this out. People will smile and I go, that happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I may have 1,000 people waiting for
Mm-hmm.
me in an audience
Right.
or an event that was
Mm-hmm.
booked a year and a half
Mm-hmm.
before. I cannot take a chance that I will not be
Right.
there. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot take a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So what we were doing post-pandemic for a
Mm-hmm.
long time, because there's so much disruption, we would
Mm-hmm.
book 2 flights on 2 different airlines, 2 hours apart.
Yep.
If something happened to one of them, I knew I could get on the next one because failure, like NASA, in my business, failure is not an option. You
Right.
can't not show up.
No.
So all of these little lessons are, I think, for everybody. And I even say at the beginning, even if not every example in this book is relevant or pertains to your industry, it will give you a greater sensitivity as a customer,
Right.
as a
Right.
client. Because we are all, Deb, we're all customers.
Mm-hmm.
We're all patients
Mm-hmm.
of somebody in healthcare. We're all
Mhm.
clients of something else. And I think in reading this, because I've had a few people who've been able to read an advanced copy, saying, I see myself on both sides of the equation. As
Oh,
a
and
business owner, and then
every
also
single
as a
one of
customer.
them, I went, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was an interesting process writing it because my wife would laugh because she'd like check my mood.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, were you just writing? Because I'm either in a really good mood because like I really like what I did,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm feeling the
Right. The
frustration of a
frustration.
story I just told.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had one happen fairly recently that hit several of your points. And it was really funny when when I was going through your book and I went, oh, yeah. So my mom passed away back in March. And so I'm the only child. So I'm having to, do all of this stuff. And God bless her. She had everything really organized. So it's not been difficult. But the thing that I had the most difficulty doing was canceling her medical alert button, right? That I've fallen down and I can't get up thing.
Right.
And so, I call and, I have everything in front of me, right? I have her account number, I have her name, obviously, all that stuff. I call and I get this person who, God bless him, English was not his second or third language. And you talk about that in the book and we're not knocking that in any way. But so I tell him, I'm calling to notify you that my mother, Tolly, she has a very unusual name, Tolly Gore, has passed away. And he, oh dear, I'm terribly sorry. And then he paused and I thought, uh-oh. And he got on the wrong script. And the next thing he said to me is,
kill me.
I
Sorry,
know. And he tells me, I need to notify you that Tully, we didn't get her name right, but that was all right, that Tully has passed away and I need to talk to the responsible party. And I said, well, yeah, I know, because I called you.
That's right. That's what's happening right now.
And, and so then we'd get a little bit further. And then he would say, I need to notify you that Tully has passed away. The third time he tells me that, my husband leaves the room. Now I'm being as patient as I can with this gentleman because it's not his fault. I mean, somewhere there was a training problem, also whatever
We call that scripted empathy.
Yes. And so I was trying really hard to, to do this. My husband had to leave the room because he figured I was either going to yell at him or he was going to start laughing so hard that, and so, and he just kept, I need to talk to the responsible party. And so then I kind of play along with it. Okay, that's me. What do we need to do? Didn't work. I need to notify you that Tully has passed away. So in the meantime, I've gone on to their website. I have looked and found what I need to do. And they actually needed a copy of the death certificate. Her bank did not, but this thing did. Right. And so I tell him, sir, thank you so much for helping. I have found the process online and I will do that. I need to notify you that Tully has passed away 4 times.
Right.
And yeah, I mean,
and the worst part about all of it is, Deb, you lost your mom.
Oh yeah, and so we're in this loop. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And I finally just thanked him and hung up. He called back to notify me that she had passed away. And I thanked him very profusely and hung up. And it was like, oh my gosh, because it was not his fault. Somewhere we were caught, it was this weird time loop. I mean, it was the funniest thing in the world. And then, it gets worse. So, we go through and finally, get the email in her email that cancels the service. I got to return the equipment. I returned the equipment. They said it didn't come on time. So they're going to charge me $300 for it. And I said, no, I have the information that says when it was delivered. I can even tell you who signed for it. Now, at least I had a person that I was talking to, right. and not the machine and all that. And she very nicely said, oh my gosh, yes, we will take care of this. But in amongst all of this, one of the little button, one of the things it is supposed to do is a fall notification, right? Right. Person has fallen or is not moving for 12 hours. They notify, whoever they're supposed to notify, one of which would be me. It never activated. She's dead and the equipment did not work the way it was supposed to.
Couldn't be more still than she is.
I know. And it was like, oh my gosh, will I ever refer to them? No.
No. And this was hours and hours of your time. And it should have been. One of the chapters, and it was interesting how I made a decision halfway through the book that I was going to separate these out. Mm-hmm. The ridiculously easy to reach a real person and the ridiculously easy to resolve issues are different things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Being able to reach somebody is one thing.
Yeah, because I got this poor gentleman who couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it's that time between when you finally get somebody and you get resolution of the issue. That part can be so frustrating as well. And I talk about that whole idea of scripted empathy. And I'll say to people, and I'll say, listen, and they'll say, I'm so sorry, Mr. Avrin. I know how frustrating I'm. I say, don't read the script. So what I really need is Blanca. Well, yes, Mr. Avrin, I know how frustrating I'm. And I said, don't read the script.
Yeah.
And they literally, and this is the company's fault. This is not their fault.
Because they have told them.
They don't want outliers.
Have to, yes. Right? You must follow the script word for word.
They want is predictability. Here's what flies in the face of that: is our issues are different.
Right.
They want consistency and predictability. They want us to answer. I mean, when you hear the message that says, "Please listen closely as our menu options have changed," they're going to give you 9 selections on your phone. How often is your issue not one of those 9?
Right. And so then you're going 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0,
right? Real person. I think you said no, real person, right? But why is that funny, right?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because it's pervasive. Because we
happens to everybody.
All identify. And so let's go back to your first comment, which is you read it and there were some duh moments. If it's so duh, and it is in many cases, why is the behavior so pervasive? And I think it comes down to companies looking for a measure of predictability in their process, in their outcome, in their cash flow. If we can better predict what our customers will do, how they'll find out about us, engage, research, communicate, buy, select, pay, deliver, whatever that is. If we have some predictability of that process, our customer's journey, then we can budget for that, right? We can hire for that. We have predictability of revenue and income and cash flow. The problem is your customers haven't read your employee manual.
Right.
They don't know how they're supposed to do your process. They just know how they want to do it. And the key is how we want to do business is changing.
Right.
So this is such an important subject
Mm-hmm.
for organizations, for companies who think they have everything
Mm-hmm.
down and their customers keep changing.
Right.
And so it has to be fluid. They have to
Mm-hmm.
keep the conversation going. And that's the role that I play.
Mm-hmm.
That I speak with organizations, I
Right.
consult, and we do deeper
Mm-hmm.
dive sessions to say,
Mm-hmm.
what's different today than five
Right.
years ago?
Right.
What are your customers going to
Mm-hmm.
want 3 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you need to start
Mm-hmm.
doing to be ready for it?
Right. And of course, the hardest thing to get across to them is they need to ask their customers.
You know, and bigger companies are pretty good at it. They
Mm-hmm.
have their VOC, their voice of
Mm-hmm.
the customer program, and that
Mm-hmm.
might be net promoter
Mm-hmm.
score. It might be their feedback. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, one of the things that make us frustrated is when we're asked again and again and again
Mm-hmm.
to fill out their survey.
Right.
But I know why they're trying to do it. They're trying
Mm-hmm.
to two things. One is they want feedback so they can
Mm-hmm.
improve, and two is they want to find out
Mm-hmm.
quickly if there was
Mm-hmm.
something frustrating, so they can address it. So
Right.
you don't go online and rant
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because
Oh
the
yeah,
internet
because the worst thing is
forever.
when you go to Facebook and go boogity 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 boogity.
Yeah, it goes back to the most famous case, which was I don't know, probably at least 10 years ago, with United Breaks Guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Yeah.
famous scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
This guy couldn't get satisfaction. He
Mm-hmm.
broke his guitar. And so finally, he and his little country band created a song, wrote a
Mm-hmm.
song called United Breaks Guitars and put it
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube. I think they're tens of millions of views by
Oh yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if you had a frustration
Mm-hmm.
with United, for example, and you
Mm-hmm.
go on Twitter or X, and all you have to do is put in your rant and put
Mm-hmm.
hashtag United or at
Mm-hmm.
United, you will get a response within 60
Mm-hmm.
seconds
Wow.
because they know how fast they have to
Mm-hmm.
respond lest
Mm-hmm.
it go viral.
Right.
And it goes back, and I think this is a real good lesson for all the listeners and
Mm-hmm.
those in business. We all grew up in business understanding what we used to call
Mm-hmm.
guest relations philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everybody's heard some
Right.
version of this. And here's how it goes. The average person with a positive experience tells two or three people, right? We've all heard it. And somebody with a
Mm-hmm.
negative experience tells 10.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the truth today. None of that is true anymore.
Not
Today,
anywhere
today we
close.
tell
Mm-hmm.
thousands. Today we
Mm-hmm.
tell millions.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the ramifications of underperformance
Mm-hmm.
found
Mm-hmm.
because all of your customers have a bullhorn that reaches around the world.
Right.
This whole idea of being ridiculously easy, of eliminating or reducing friction
Mm-hmm.
and reducing frustration,
Mm-hmm.
it's you're disarming your customers
Mm-hmm.
who are happy to take pot shots at you.
Right.
Customers have a lot of power. This
Mm-hmm.
is more important than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean everybody's going to get everything they
Mm-hmm.
want, but we can at least do everything we
Mm-hmm.
can.
Right. And I mean, there are definitely people who rant and rave. Maybe they, about a restaurant meal, hoping that the restaurant is going to contact them and say, oh dear, we're so sorry. Come back for free appetizers.
Right.
So, they come back and have free appetizers. Maybe they're going to post and say, oh my God, this was the coolest thing in the world. I love this restaurant. I'll go here every Friday. And it cost them free appetizers.
Right. And a better scenario is not trying to fix things that are broken,
Mm-hmm.
is to address them on site. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
very obvious clues as to if somebody is not happy.
Mm-hmm.
When the person or the manager makes the rounds in the restaurant and they stop by and say, was everything okay here? What they should be doing is looking down.
Right. Did
So
they eat everything?
One person has most of their food.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance there was something they
Right.
didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's not a free appetizer. It's like, oh, did you not? Oh, no, let me get, no, please,
Mm-hmm.
let me choose anything on the menu.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or we'll remove that one from your bill.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're likely to come
Mm-hmm.
back. And
Mm-hmm.
we look at this is the LTV, right? The lifetime value.
Mm-hmm.
Every industry, whoever's listening or watching this, think of and quantify the lifetime
Mm-hmm.
value of your customer,
Mm-hmm.
customer and their family. I do a lot of
Right.
work with a lot of industries. Dentistry is
Mm-hmm.
actually one of the odd industries I work with.
Mm-hmm.
And the lifetime value of a patient and their family for a general dentistry,
Oh, it's big.
6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have a dental practice that
Mm-hmm.
does not accommodate
Mm-hmm.
any evenings or weekends,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've lost out on
Mm-hmm.
all those single dads, those single moms who are working all day. They got to
Right.
get the kids fed. They
Mm-hmm.
got to get them bathed. They got to do
Mm-hmm.
their homework. And just one night a week, or you
Mhm.
work till from 6 to
Right.
9 on Wednesday nights
Mhm.
and Saturdays till noon.
Mhm.
You have every right to say we're not going to do that.
Mhm.
But boy, what a great competitive
Mhm.
advantage if you can be accommodating.
Right.
So
Right.
all of this is within the context of a
Mhm.
competitive marketplace.
Mhm.
Why do you need to be ridiculously easy to do business with? Because your competitors are.
Mhm. Right. Your
And
competitor for many of you is Amazon. And,
absolutely.
and when I can go click, click, click and be done. I mean, I ordered something the other day and it was delivered today. It wasn't supposed to be delivered for 3 days. I was like, cool.
I'm in Colorado. We have 3 major Amazon
Mhm.
warehouses here.
Mhm.
80% of what we order, I get same day.
Yeah. Oh,
Same
yeah.
day. There used to be a time,
Mhm.
remember when we would have to, like, we wanted to send somebody flowers.
Mhm.
So we had to,
Oh, a week in advance at
or,
least.
or, or by, if you didn't order
Mhm.
by 10 a.m.,
Mhm.
the way you could have, we order things at 8 o'clock at night
Yeah.
and we get the same day.
Oh, yeah.
It's
We've
ridiculous.
gotten very spoiled. And I,
Yeah.
and
It's a great
and
time to be a
mhm.
customer.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
tough time to
Mhm.
be in business
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
we're all competing. You're right.
Mhm.
We're competing against
Mhm.
Amazon, and we're competing
Mhm.
against free.
Right. Yeah. And even and the funny thing, and you mentioned this in the book, price isn't really the issue in many cases. It is easy.
Yeah.
I'll pay twice as much to have it 2 hours earlier. Maybe not quite, but yeah, if it's okay, I
Yeah.
can either get dressed, put real clothes on, put shoes on, get in my car, drive the 5 minutes to Walmart. There is a
Yeah.
Walmart 5 minutes from me, or I can go boop, boop, and on Amazon have it in 2 hours.
What's your time worth? I do the
Yeah.
same thing because my commute is to the airport because I
Mm-hmm.
travel and I speak.
Right.
And it costs an extra $3 to
Mm-hmm.
be in the carpool or the high
Mm-hmm.
occupancy lane
Right.
in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Three
yeah.
bucks to not sit in traffic,
Mm-hmm.
done.
Right.
Right? We will pay for
Right.
convenience.
And even if you're only caught in traffic once of maybe every 10 trips, you're still going to pay it for that one trip.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Because and it doesn't mean that everybody can. Yes,
Right.
$3 is a lot for some people,
Mm-hmm.
but we're serving a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different demographics.
Mm-hmm.
I even talk about that give your it's a real great revenue
Mm-hmm.
generating opportunity is allow those who have means to pay to skip the line,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh,
Offer
yeah.
just reposition as concierge service. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody, as opposed to saying, hey, there's a big
Mm-hmm.
upcharge, a big
Right.
rush charge, instead of penalizing them,
Mm-hmm.
reach out to them and say, you're one of our best
Mm-hmm.
customers. You qualify for our platinum
Mm-hmm.
for X number per month,
Right.
get recurring revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get a dedicated concierge
Mm-hmm.
specific rep that you get
Mm-hmm.
priority in terms of your
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing or printing or whatever that is. It's a
Oh,
brilliant.
yeah. Yeah. Well, you fly far more than I do. I have Clear and I have TSA PreCheck, and those cost money. I don't care how much
Right,
they cost
right.
because I don't want to take my shoes off and my coat off. And no, and on the rare times where I'm at a place that doesn't have them, I'm like, well, what? I have to take my shoes off, and I won't have put stuff in my
Right.
bag the way they were supposed to be. And all. No, I don't
Right.
care.
And
I'm
some
going to
people may say,
pay.
look at you with your first world problems. I'm saying in business, it's
Mhm.
an opportunity
Right.
for revenue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't make people wait. Don't
Right.
make people
Mm-hmm.
wonder. Don't make them worry.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a good time writing the book, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ride this brand for a while.
Yeah.
So everything is about
Mm-hmm.
and at some point we'll do some brand extension. We'll probably do
Mm-hmm.
ridiculously easy to work for,
Mm-hmm. Right.
ridiculously easy to
Mm-hmm.
parent. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's if
Yeah.
that's a thing.
that's
Never,
that's a
never.
toughie.
That's never going to be
Mm,
ridiculously easy.
no, it is never
Right.
easy to parent. But yeah, I mean, it's something that, like we were saying, people just don't get it. But as I said at the start of the program, this is your sixth time on the program because you've written all these great books. One of the things that struck me as I was, preparing for this, you have made a career out of being a professional speaker. And, I know COVID was really hard because, all of a sudden
For
you couldn't
everybody,
do that.
sure.
But, for people who are even thinking, I want to get on stage, how is it that you have been so successful with what you do?
I appreciate the question. It's a tough business, but let me rephrase it. Speaking isn't a business.
Right.
It's an art.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the gig is the
Mm-hmm.
business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Getting gigs.
Mm-hmm.
And people talk about getting on the circuit. There is no
Mm-hmm.
circuit. There are gigs.
Right.
And But the good news is every profession has an association and they have meetings. There are, what, 600 conferences every day, I think, in Las Vegas. And so I've approached it a little bit different. I'm not a motivational speaker. My presentations are very humorous, very entertaining, but I use that strategically to temper tough messages about business, about what it takes to
Right.
compete and win. But my approach, my mantra has always been just to teach. I just teach what I know. I had a long career in marketing and public relations and brand development. And then I just spent years teaching others what I know.
Right.
And I made a big shift in my business about 7 years ago because I saw the experience that we have being a much more primary driver of customer behavior than our own, slogans. And so for me, I think the longevity comes from the fact that we treat it like a business. I don't wait for the phone to ring.
Right.
I'm fortunate that I speak, and then others who see me in the audience want to have me. But we also reach out a lot. We treat it like a business. We're at our desk early in the morning, and we're reaching out. We're marketing. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not on Shark Tank. I'm good at what I do. You're good at what you do. Most people listening, but we have to promote.
Right.
And so we introduce me to associations, organizations, corporations, and others. We're shooting out 3 times a week.
Right.
And so
Well, and that's exactly what
it's been a
happened
great business.
with this. You posted, I think it would have been last week on Facebook because we are Facebook friends.
Yes, we are.
And you posted your new sizzle reel for the new book, right? And I went, oh, new book, need to have Dave on again. Before I could do it, I got an email from Hannah.
You did.
And I mean, and it was like, oh, this is weird, scary. She read my mind, which that's what a good assistant does, right? But yeah, I mean, she contacted me and she said, hey, Dave's getting ready. And I, of course, said, well, yes, I would, as always, have Dave on again. But she and you, I mean, anticipated that the book is coming out. So you got to start working the phones, working the emails, and
Exactly.
and then it was
have a plan.
easy to book you.
Absolutely. How are we promoting? And all of us in business, we look for those things to anchor.
Right.
For some retail businesses, it might be a particular holiday as a reason to reach out.
Right.
Me, when I have a new sizzle preview video, a new book, it's an opportunity to say, hey, remember. Right. I don't know.
Don't leave it up to us to go, oh, hey, Dave, I need to have you on the program again or buy your new product or whatever. No, reach out.
Yeah. And so we did. I said, let's reach out to everybody who I've been on their podcast before and say, we got something new to talk about, in addition to a whole long list of new podcasts. But we're also doing excerpts and we're sending out to hundreds of bloggers. Right. We've got video posts. And I think that the broader lesson is I've got a business just like you do, just like all of your listeners and viewers as well. We're all running a business and businesses require attention and strategy, promotion. So I don't know anybody that can coast.
Right.
There's a few people and they're celebrities. And even those who've written, best-selling books, they're not coasting.
No.
They're promoting, they're speaking, they're doing interviews and all those things. I'm part of that.
Yeah. And that comes back to the easy part, right? Don't make people have to try and find you. We might go, ooh, cool new book, but then 5 seconds later, I've gone squirrel, and I'm on to my next whatever thought process is. And so, yeah, just make it easy. And I can't think of anything where we don't need to still be doing some type of promotion, no matter what it is. You just have to keep reminding people that you exist because there's so much clutter in this world that we don't always remember, or we do go squirrel the second,
But then I think the other part, because everybody's good and we're all fighting for attention. Seth Godin had a great line. He says, marketing is a competition for other people's attention, right? But once you get them, that's where the customer experience, which is different than customer service, not just how nice are we, what is the experience that they have? And so my whole mantra is, if you get opportunities with prospects, make everything easy. Right? I have a lot of colleagues who talk about, creating wow experiences. I don't think most of our businesses lend themselves to wow experiences. It's wow was I got in and out of there in 5 minutes. Wow, I
Right.
could do it with 2 clicks. Wow, I can't believe you actually answered the phone. Right? Wow, it was more convenient. It was more because I talk to business owners and ask them, what do you think your competitive advantages are? And it's always some version of quality, commitment, caring, trust. It's about our people. Our people make the difference. Here's what the research shows is that customers are prioritizing speed
Oh,
and
yeah.
flexibility and simplicity in process, and of course, convenience. And
Right.
to paraphrase my friend Sally Hogshead, who talks about that different is better than better, I assert that convenient is better than better.
Right. Yeah. It comes back to what I was saying before. We're
Don't make me
spoiled.
wait. Yeah, don't make me wait. And it's
Yeah.
okay. I don't mind being spoiled.
Yeah.
And so, but our customers want that as well.
Right.
And if you think their expectations are
Right.
unreasonable,
Right. Yeah.
then
Yeah.
don't serve them.
Well, and if they have to wait, this is a chapter in the book, keep them posted. You know, I'm due a refund from my mom's apartment, right? Because she rented. And so she had her security deposit. And it was funny because people told me, oh, you're not going to get any of it back. He will find, ways to do everything. Well,
Sure.
yeah, I am supposed to get something back. I, was in contact and I said, okay, turned over all the utilities, yada, yada, yada. And and they said, oh, we'll send your refund. Now, the first thing that we'll have to make it out in your mother's name because that's who the renter was.
Not true.
And I said, that's okay. I'm on her checking account, so that's no problem.
Right.
So my first thought was, yeah, they wanted me to say no, and then they were going to say, so sorry.
Right.
But it was okay. Well, we'll send a check tomorrow. It's been 2 weeks. Now, speaking of poor customer service, it's been in national news now for weeks that the Atlanta Postal Service is horrible and awful and has been for quite a while. And so I sent him an email yesterday, just checking that it didn't get lost in the mail. Oh dear, we forgot.
Oh my gosh.
Now, at least they admitted it. I mean, because I had given them a pretty easy out, right? They could have said, oh my gosh, we mailed it. And she said, we're really sorry. Now, any bets as to how soon I am still going to
But
get
that's
that check?
once again a lesson for your audience, which
Yeah.
is if your customers have to call you or email you to check on the status, then you are already behind because they're wondering and they're worrying.
Yeah. And
Don't make
getting
them
annoyed.
proactively. If something's going to be delayed, sometimes it is. We don't control supply chain. We don't be ridiculously easy to trust because you're proactively reaching out. And the good
And
news
be
is
honest.
a lot of your competitors aren't.
Right.
So it's an opportunity for to get a leg up.
Right. Yeah, and it is one of those things where, if something happens, just tell me. I'm fine with it.
Serious.
You lost the paperwork. Okay, well, I can resubmit it. I mean, whatever, but don't
Well,
give me the
but also,
runaround.
but I think it brings up a really important point, which is getting your customers what they want or being ridiculously easy to resolve. It doesn't mean your customers get the answer they want.
Right.
Just if the answer is going to be no, get them a no quickly.
Right.
The best example is if you're looking to buy a house and you're going to get turned down for a mortgage, you know what? Sometimes you get turned down,
Yeah.
but
Let me
rather
know
be
that
turned
before
down,
I've looked
let
at
me know
5
now.
houses.
Right. Let me know now. If you make me wait 3 weeks, I'm going to lose out on the opportunity. So I think it's a really important message as well. Sometimes the answer is no.
Right.
Just help them get to know faster. I do it when I get a telemarketer because I did telemarketing when I was like 15 years old. And when somebody calls and they're doing it, I quickly cut them off. And I say, not a fit for me. Thank you, though. And I hang up the phone. And my kid's like, so rude. And I said, oh, no. It's the nicest thing I could have done for them. So they're not, if I sat and listened to their pitch for 5 minutes, I just wasted their time.
Right.
The nicest thing you can do is help them get to the answer, the resolution quickly, even if it's not what they want to hear.
Right. And there are often times where you can say no, but, and so you can give them another solution. You talk in the book about.
My solution is saying is even if the answer is no, here's the greatest response. Here's for your audience. Here's a great takeaway. Even if the answer is no, here's the best response. Let me tell you what I can do.
Right.
Just that, and anything that's helpful. Maybe it's something else in lieu of what they wanted. Maybe it's a referral to somebody else.
Right.
But train your people. Don't say no. You say, "I'm sorry, we can't." But let me tell you what I can do.
Right.
And they understand, and they're so appreciative. It's one of the most powerful phrases that I teach in my presentations, workshops, and we talk about it in the book.
Right. Because you're still helping them solve their need, their problem, their whatever.
Of course, don't make them think they're
Yeah.
talking to a brick wall. That
Right.
frustrates everybody.
Right. Or being told 5 times that your mother has passed away.
Yeah.
It really was comical. I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. In the face of something tragic.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, at least I could laugh about it.
Good for
That
you.
was
And,
that
and
was
I'm
the
and I
thing.
am sorry for your loss.
Well, thank you. But yeah, it was the whole thing has been a learning experience, right? With customer service, all sorts of things. I mean, there's just been lots of very good. I mean, for the most part, very good. We had actually flown the day that she passed away. It was very sudden, and we had gone to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament to watch our beloved Colorado Buffaloes.
Yes.
And when I land, I have a message. And it was like, oh, brat. And at that point it wasn't, she's gone. We're at the ER. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And, and then obviously eventually the trip got canceled. MGM Grand was fabulous. I went up, I told him, I said, here is what has happened. And it was so funny because it's a concierge and we had special package, all that good stuff.
Sure.
And I said, you charge me whatever you need to charge me, and she went, you need to talk to, and then she caught herself and she said, I am so sorry. You stay right there. I'll go take care of it.
Good for her.
And she went and she came back with water. She came back with water. That was very cute. And she said, the bill has been taken care of. The rental car place, they still had to charge us for a day because we had actually taken the car off the lot. And Southwest Airlines routed me back to Kansas, routed my husband back to Atlanta, all sorts of things. And just extremely good examples of good customer service.
Yeah. And you're talking about it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I will stay with MGM again. I will use that same rental company. And yeah, because we got great service. Right. And that's the whole point of this. They made it easy. Now, granted, it was a very difficult time, but it shouldn't matter, right? Absolutely. Make it easy. Well, oh my gosh, Dave, we've chatted for an hour again.
And to be clear for your audience, because this is my chance to honor you, because you are one of the most prolific podcasters on the planet.
Thank you.
We are at about, what is this?
975.
975th podcast. There are few that have podcasts at all, few that get to 50 episodes. So I honor you.
Well,
I appreciate. I'm like the Saturday Night Live that I've hosted 6 times or I've guested 6 times. Thank you for that. But congratulations on a massive milestone.
Thank you.
1,000 is coming up soon.
I know. Planning something big. Just don't know what it is.
I will tune in.
Very cool. Very cool. I love it. Well, how do people reach out to you and connect with you?
Sure. It's my name, and you can see it on the screen if you're watching the video version. It's David Avrin, davidavrin.com. And then on social media, on Instagram, it's The Real David Avrin. I think on YouTube, it's Real David Avrin. That's a whole other catfish for another day. But if you go there and there's lots of followers and connections, it's me. If there's only a few, it's not really me. And then the book, I would encourage go to Amazon. If you're watching this around the launch time, which is mid-June of 2024, I've got a special deal, 99 cents for the Kindle version. Buy the hardback as well. Nice. But I want to get this in as many hands as possible. I think it's an easy read. If you know who I am, you'll hear my voice when you.
And it's funny because you say that in the book, and it was true. I heard you telling me the book.
I write for the ear more than I write for the page. But once again, the book is ridiculously easy to do business with. And you can look me up at davidavrin.com. If you have an upcoming conference,
You're the man.
I've got a preview video as well. Would love to come and speak for you.
I love it. Well, we'll have you on for a 7th time before too long, I'm sure, because you are just such a great inspiration and such a great source of information. But until then, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
I think the only final thought is I think it's a really amazing time to be in business. There's daunting challenges. There always has been, but we have more tools than we've ever had with the internet, with artificial intelligence, and it's so much more than ChatGPT. I think if we keep our head up and look for opportunities to serve our customers and clients better, and it's way more than a happy smile. There's remarkable tools to do market research, to reach out. What we're doing and talking over Zoom, I mean, we can talk face to face. For my parents' generation, what we're doing right now is magic. For you and I, it's Wednesday. And so I say embrace all of these new opportunities. Don't worry about shiny things, but there's new ways to communicate with your customers, to help have them pay you, for them to research you, for how we deliver. It's a really exciting time to be in business, and I'm bullish on all of it.
I love it. Well, I'm Deb Creer. I've been having so much fun talking with my friend David Avrin, who is this world-renowned speaker and author of many books, including Ridiculously Easy to Do Business With. Until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.